95% of coaches are trying and failing to grow their businesses on YouTube, and I'm starting to genuinely believe that it's because they're following the mainstream advice that doesn't actually work. I've been generating $28,000 a month from YouTube and from nothing but YouTube for the last 12 months, and so in this video, I want to show you the top 5 mistakes that are holding you back from the YouTube success that you deserve. I'm in the beautiful London right now, in Hyde Park, on the way to a business event. Come along with me for the ride and let's chat. The first mistake is falling into the 2D trap, and this is a fantastic way of ensuring that you don't gain traction on YouTube and you don't get the clients that you want. The mainstream advice is that you need to deliver value per second, optimize for attention, keep people hooked by just giving them amazing information non-stop throughout your video. But there's a big problem with this, and that is when you optimize for attention, you risk completely losing your personality and showing who you actually are in your videos. And let me explain why this is important. I just sold out my high ticket program again. And in my videos, I'll often share stories of me playing music, or I'll literally play guitar in some of my videos. I'll also mention sometimes that I'm training to be a somatic coach. Maybe it's to make a point, whatever. I put in little expressions of my personality beyond just the value per second and allow people to get to know me a little bit. And guess what? 50% of the clients who signed up this month were either musicians or somatic coaches. Like, that's the power of the resonance effect. When you share more of who you are, it creates a 3D effect to actually allow yourself to be seen by people and to give them opportunities to resonate with who you actually are. If you do this, you will simply build trust and connection faster, which is what actually gets you clients, instead of just trying to deliver value per second and being this sort of 2D veneer who isn't even a real person. As your mum probably told you a million times, you just gotta be yourself. Mistake number 2 is being all air and no earth. If you're all air and no earth, you're going to be giving your potential clients a feeling of, this person knows their stuff, but you won't give them any urge to actually want to work with you and pull the trigger. This is a mistake that I used to make all the time. Points that I used to make in my videos, I would think, right, this has got to be super credible. I've got to boost my credibility. And so what I do is research scientific studies that backed up my points. And so, for example, I used to make a point about state, about how you need to be in state when you're on camera, and maybe if you do a power posture before you talk to camera, you can be more confident. And so I'd be like, right, what are the science behind this? And I was talking about, cortisol going down and testosterone going up, all this science. And the video didn't perform well, didn't get me any clients. And I was sort of scratching my head thinking, why? Why did this not do well? A few months later, I made another video where I did a power posture and a state exercise with my friend, Matt. And I just walked him through the process. I was with him in the room, showing him how to do this. And I literally showed him talking to camera before, and then him talking to camera afterwards. And I can see from the analytics in that video, it made me at least $6,000 in new clients. So the point here is to touch the ground in your content. Doesn't matter if it's dirty, you just got to touch the ground. You need to talk about real stuff. Stop being so in the air, using theory, using science. You need to ideally show, but if you cannot show, also tell real stories. Tell your own stories. Tell your clients' stories. When you tell these stories, it makes you so much more relatable. It not only switches that cog in the human brain that loves storytelling and just gets people to start listening when you start telling a story, but it also positions you as the person who can actually get results, whether those results be your own results or the results of other people. Don't be all air and no earth. Make sure you touch the ground.
Mind the gap between train and the platform.
Mistake number 3 is that you make pretend rather than making a friend. I had this client once, and what he would do is he would set up the camera and he'd put his hands together. I can't do it with both hands right now, but he'd put his hands together in this sort of professional pose, and then he would start talking. Hi, if you are this person, in this video, I would like to help you with this. And I was giving him some feedback on the video, maybe try and make him relax a little bit. But it wasn't until I was on a group call with him and he spoke on the group call that I realized he was a completely different person on the call. He was sharing funny stories, self-deprecating humor, making the whole group laugh, smiling a lot more. I was like, man, watching your videos, you were making pretend, bro. You were just pretending to be somebody. You were pretending to have an expert veneer. And there's nothing wrong with this. We all do it when we start talking on camera. We think that we need to be this professional, credible source, and so we pull ourselves together and we pretend to be all polished and perfect. Now, I don't know if you've ever been out for a drink with a friend who happens to be a teacher or a doctor or a policeman, but they are completely normal human beings when you go for a drink with them, But as soon as they are in their roles, you see them as this expert with the uniform, and there's a lot of distance that is put between you and them. If you're doing the equivalent of this on YouTube, you've got to stop. Instead, you got to be making a friend. And what does that look like? That looks like the teacher, the doctor, or the policeman who is in the pub, letting their guard down and just being totally themselves around their mates. By being able to do this, you'll not only enjoy making content way more, but you'll get views and sales much faster, because people will feel like they know you. They will feel like, this is a friend, this isn't a person, make it pretend. Matthias!
Puma, bought you some food.
Thanks, man. Just about to eat some absolutely fantastic steak.
Thank you.
Thank you. When we lived together, yeah.
Mistake number 4 is called debate versus relate. This is the difference between freezing up on camera and stumbling over your words versus entering a flow state whenever you speak. A client of mine had this epiphany recently where he realized that he was considering the opposition to every single one of the points he was making in his videos, meaning that when he made a point, and in his case it was about language learning, he would imagine that he was talking to this group of experts, of other language experts, who would be criticizing his points, meaning that when he made a point, he was trying to cover all different angles to make sure that nobody could debate against him. And what this meant for him was that he was coming across as very uncertain and a lack of conviction, and instead just trying to cover his back all the time. Instead, as soon as he switched to the mindset of, I'm gonna help my specific avatar, who is a beginner, and they are in a problem state right now watching my video. So they're literally clicked on my video and they're thinking, oh, this sucks, I need to learn this language. I need some help. And when he's imagining that person who needs help, he's talking to them with so much more, not only conviction and credibility and authority, but also with warmth, with relatability, with empathy. And that makes him way more charismatic on camera. So instead of imagining that you're talking in a debate, start relating. And by the way, if you want to make points that land in your video every single time, I have a custom GPT in the description that will be your sparring partner to help you create amazing points so every single one of your videos bangs. The link to that is in the description below. Come on, man. Mistake number 5 is playing to not lose. Just come back from London and I found myself in a little bit of a sort of post-trip blues, finding myself slipping into this mindset of playing not to lose. Let me explain. Playing not to lose is the fastest shortcut to arrive at YouTube stagnation and mediocrity. Sounds harsh, it is true. When you are playing not to lose, it essentially means that you are trying to make videos that don't flop. You are trying to not be criticized, and everything is aimed at avoiding negatives. This directly sabotages YouTube progress because it forces you to play small. YouTube success and growing your business through YouTube all revolves around you playing big. YouTube 101 is basically have big, bold ideas and then pay off those ideas in a big and bold way in your videos. That's basically what YouTube is. That's how you get successful on YouTube. And if you're trying not to lose, you're going to limit the bigness and boldness of your ideas. And in the fulfilling of those ideas, i.e. your speaking in your actual videos, you're going to limit how big and bold and confident and convicted you speak when you make those videos. And this is a real stagnation point that I see a lot of people fall into, in that they can be trying to guess all the tactics, all these little things. I need help with this thumbnail. I need help with this point. I need help with my shot. But if it all comes from the mindset of, I'm just playing not to lose, and I don't want to be criticized, none of these little shifts or small improvements is going to make any difference. The flip side of this is, of course, playing to win. When you have a vision and a goal and you're moving towards that, trying to win, you're going to have way bigger, bolder ideas, which is going to create better video titles and thumbnails. And then when you are speaking to camera, playing to win, knowing where you're going, having that vision, it's just going to come across as so much more confident and convicted when you speak. If you want a YouTube video planning sparring partner, I have that Pull Paint Point GPT in the description below. That's going to help you plan out banger points for your videos that keep your audience engaged and help them move quickly from viewers to clients. And if you want to learn how to make 20K a month from YouTube as a coach and bring in new clients to your coaching business from YouTube, watch this video next. Why are you still here? Go and watch the video.